Hi there, it is Oscar, your host for today on Let's Talk Live, the podcast. We got inspired by people's stories and their emotions. That whether you are a successful businessman, a full-time traveler, a model, a guru, or whatsoever, we are still on the same journey called life. So hop on and get to know the people behind their stories and emotions, all aimed at providing you the insights that you can relate to and learn from. Okay, good. Here, Lisa. Here we go. Lisa is coming, tuning in.
Hello.
Oh.
Where's my face?
Hi there.
How are you?
I forgot your theme song. You ready?
My theme song, yeah.
Can you hear it? Oh no, wait here. Wait.
That's a sick theme song.
Theme song.
Okay, I mean, my chin's fabulous, but I don't think that's all you want to see. Let me set this up correctly. Speaking of talking behind the scenes, behind the screens.
Yeah.
I was just doing a Insta announcement of my behind the scenes setup going live with you. It's like, if we're doing it, let's do it properly.
But where are you sitting now then? Is it the same place?
Yeah, this is my point of view.
Oh.
This is you. Can you see
That's
it?
nice. Oh, on the guitar. Good stuff.
Yeah. With my coffee and my notes.
Nice. How are you today? How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm a little nervous, to be honest.
Yeah.
Which is funny and exciting. I always get excited when I get nervous because I think I got so used to doing things that should make me nervous. Like castings and auditions and like doing ridiculous stuff in front of a bunch of people that just are looking at you with straight faces, like in front of a camera.
Yeah.
And so I don't get nervous that often anymore. But when I do, I know it's something new and something that's challenging me or excites me in a way. So I try to embrace the feeling.
Because what I noticed, for instance, is that I want to get more into public speaking than I do now. So I go to organization and I do the speaking, but for me it's very difficult. Let's say if I do a speech, I never really prepare in front of people. So I just do it by myself and then I just show up and do the stuff. Because I find it quite scary, sometimes when I just think like, okay, standing in front of people knowing that maybe you don't have the full answer or you don't really know how to express yourself still. But you're enjoying that, you just said. Like the nervousness just feels part of it, kind of.
Well, it's still a like feeling, but I'm trying to mentally embrace it because I know what it means. It means that I'm doing something that's challenging me or like pushing me to go beyond my comfort zone. And I think you're, like you said a couple days ago in your Insta life, like bravery is such a important part of life, or like how to make life exciting. So yeah, I think if I push myself beyond my comfort zone, I hope there's some bravery in that, and that excites me. So I try to make the best of it, so I don't like.
But the interesting part for me is then how do you, let's say, do you have any secrets to when you're doing this? For instance, that when you know you're nervous or you're stepping into something new, like, is there anything you say to yourself, or how do you deal with doing new stuff, and scary stuff?
I focus a lot on breathing. I guess I'll turn on my notifications. You know all about that. I think meditation is a big part of that. I don't do it as often or as regular as I should, but for sure at their crisis moments, even if it's like a positive crisis, like nervousness before an audition, I for sure use breathing exercises and try to make change it into something positive. Like I just said, like view it as something like, okay, we're doing this and this is excitement. The nervousness is not, I try to not see it as fear, but as excitement. Because somehow I think it's the same, I think someone wrote that, like it's the same feeling actually when you're really excited or really nervous. It's just your brain perceives it differently, I think.
Yeah, that's, I think it's Mel Robbins who said this one, because I remember this indeed. It even helped me at certain points when I felt that I signed up for a speech the next day, but I didn't have anything prepared. So it was a last minute call. I came in. And so I had less than 24 hours to deliver a speech. And then that night, I couldn't really sleep. But I was like, okay, tomorrow I'm having a speech. Well, what am I about to do? And then basically, I had the same thing, because it seems to be that the symptoms that we have indeed as nervousness and excitement are the same one.
Yeah.
You get sweaty hands.
Yeah, your heart starts racing
a bit more. So that helps.
It's the same kind of feeling.
Nice.
One brings along a bit more fear, I guess, and so I'm trying to eliminate or like not focus on the fear part, but more on the exciting. Okay, I'm doing something that's exciting me part. Yeah, but sometimes, you know, it takes the better and it wins, and I just stutter in front of a camera and I fail, or like I'm.
So it happens still.
Yeah, of course.
Joanna said hi, and Dion says, "I'm not my thoughts." Nice. And
I'm super easily distracted, so like my concentration can be super shitty. So like getting the messages is really nice, but also I really have to be like, oh yeah, don't concentrate.
Yeah, you don't have to keep an eye on it. But that's interesting, you know, because I think that's the beauty of it. And I've become a big fan of Kevin Hart. And you know, Kevin Hart, he seems like this funny comedian and always joking around and stuff.
Yeah.
But this guy can be super serious, you know, and delivering some good stuff. So, but recently he always said like, he said that he's still experiencing fear sometimes and feeling uncomfortable in situations. But he just said like, yeah, but I'm good with I'm okay with the good and the bad right now. You know, it feels like it's really part of the deal.
Yeah. How boring would it be if we didn't have any of those feelings? Like, then you'd be a flat line. Even if it's flat line at constant happiness, it's a flat line. Like I'm not interested in that. I mean, I like a little like balance, and that has to be like a healthy wave. So not like crashingly bad and extremely like manic euphoric, but somewhere in between, like nicely balanced out. Oh, is your shirt open? That's making me excited. Oscar!
It's actually, this is a rare moment that you're experiencing, that I'm actually having a shirt.
Oh, really? You put on that
because
shirt
I have the garden here, like there's sunshine all day, so I'm like 80% I'm just not wearing.
That's amazing. I appreciate it. I put on my best outfit. I have to be honest with you, I slept in this t-shirt.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's like, you know, this is the thing where we're experiencing such an wild, new, challenging time, and but I think it brings us closer to each other. Like we're in each other's living rooms way more often than we used to be. Like people doing FaceTime calls or like Zoom or whatever. Like I don't have a job, so I don't know what they're using companies for. Like they do meetings over Zoom, and all of a sudden you're in someone's living room instead of like in an office in a suit. So I thought we're doing this live, and like I'm on my couch, and you know I put on pants. Like I was proud of myself, but I kept on my pajama shirt. I can open my shirt too, says David. There's no way to open this. Like, there's no button stuff. Sorry, you have to come up with something else.
And so basically, after you mentioned this, and I think By the way, we have to tap into this, you know, still feeling the sense of insecurity and stuff, because I had the other day, um, and in general, basically, it means we're just speaking about wanting to do something and getting out of your comfort zone, and still perhaps making it your comfort zone, or maybe it will always remain part of something scary.
Yeah.
But I remember the other day when I was we were shooting a commercial, and it had to do with these shapes. Maybe you see them, the photo. Maybe you've seen them on Instagram, the sponsored posts where you have the shapes. So
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I was dancing and stuff, so I had to dance. But the funny thing is, like, I thought about it before. They said, like, yes, and we have this song for you, and you can listen to it beforehand. They gave me a song, and they changed it on the spot, so it became a different song. But okay, fine, you know, I'm used to dancing. But honestly, I was just hoping that there would be people also being there, that that would give you some vibe, you know, going on. But literally, there was no proper sound. The only thing they had was the laptop with the sound on, and six people watching at you, you know, and you had to dance. But I find it scary still.
So how did you do it? Did you speak to yourself? Did you pump yourself up, or did you just like go for it and then started feeling more comfortable while doing it? Or
that's a very good question. I think um, honestly, if I'm there anyways, I just think like, okay, let's just make the best of it, you know. And I think the interesting part is, and I don't know how you feel this, it would be nice to hear, is that many times I have this perception that because we are at that moment perceived as professionals, we have to act like we know everything and we know how to act on the spot. And many times for me, that's just not the case. You know, I'm still me. I'm still Oscar, the guy. But somehow at this moment, how is it for you? Is there really a switch that you put on, or do you have alter ego? How does it work for you? I don't know.
No, No, I think it's the opposite of an alter ego, to be honest. I think I try to get as closest or as in tune with myself as possible, because I know that I'm strongest and most attractive as a human being, not as in looks, but or also in looks. I don't know, when I'm just being myself, and I just learned throughout the way that when I keep my peace and when I stay calm and true to myself, or goofy like myself, because I'm not a calm person, or sometimes I am, but usually not, that works best. And that if I believe in myself and don't talk myself down, like, oh, you're probably not good enough, or this probably looks shit, or oh, I'm not sure if I can do this, that's what you manifest, I think. So I'm trying to manifest like just being confident and having faith and trying to make the best out of it, not expecting the best of myself, but just doing my best and trying to do as best as I can. And so yeah, I felt that works. And I'm like, very often at jobs, people have told me in the beginning, like, you move too fast, like, can you like move a little bit slower? So also with that, I've really been practicing to keep my calm and be connected with myself, and then just do my thing. And then I hope it works. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, but I think that's something very nice that you mentioned there. That I think it's easy. Like, obviously, we feel nervous beforehand because we have already a projection that I'm not sure if I can do this. There could be self-doubt. But it's interesting that how you manage at least to keep control on these thoughts, you know, or at least be aware of them, you would say. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm controlling them, because I also try to just feel whatever I feel and embrace every feeling. Just like, I'm still feeling nervous now, you know, and I'm still scared that at some point I'll stutter and I won't have an answer. Can't find my words because this is also not my native language, or, you know, I haven't prepared like stories or whatever. So I still feel the nervousness, but I also feel very much joy around it. And so I'm just embracing all of those feelings. And yeah.
That's so beautiful. Just as you mentioned, just the embracing part indeed.
Yeah.
And I think if we would all it becomes easier because you're kind of accepting, allowing that part to be with you there as well.
Yeah.
And
So that's
still,
what's being alive. Like
yeah,
being nervous. I'm alive right now. You know, I'm hyper
yeah.
focused. Like you know, I'm excited. I'm having fun. Um, yeah. So even if it's a scary feeling, it makes me feel alive. And isn't that what we all want? Like to feel alive and not be a flat line.
Yeah.
Like,
That's so cool, and I totally agree, and it's definitely something I'm going to take with me as well. That it's just another emotion that makes us feel alive, and
yeah.
often we have this idea, right, that that part of the spectrum, maybe we should feel a little bit less of this nervousness and stuff, and more of the joy. But it's
Yeah.
the same actually, because maybe if you allow really everything to be there, then it becomes more easier to embrace it as well, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do you think there's a difference between social media and real life?
I hope so. I sure hope so. Social
Yeah,
media is
because
great.
else we would be living our perfect lives, everyone.
Yeah, or well, yeah, perfectness, like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I think like I see a lot of perfection that are not my form of perfection. You know, I think everything should exist, and I think that well, not everything, but like non-harmful things, everything deserves a platform. So I think social media is a great platform for that, for people to, yeah, be be themselves and express themselves or express a version of themselves who they can't be in
A
real
virtue.
life, but
Yeah.
they intrinsically feel.
Yeah.
But they're somehow scared or pressured into not expressing that in real life. And here we have a platform where we can share that and be that. And I think that's very beautiful. So
That's a
for
good one
sure.
actually.
Hmm?
Yeah, because I start as you mentioned that I noticed that for instance that the people that I know already that we already have a bond with kind of sometimes it's more difficult if you then say like, hey, I'm gonna change or I'm gonna be this person. But maybe if it first
Yeah.
goes gradually through people you don't really know, I don't know. For me somehow it seems easier, you know, to connect with strangers because then you have it feels like a new opportunity where you can still show that person of you that you want to be, you know, become.
Hmm.
Maybe your
So
parents already know you.
so does it feel like you're more able to shape yourself because of a platform that you have where you can create an image of yourself? Does that like affect your person, your real person?
Well,
Does it make sense?
maybe to a certain extent. So as I mentioned before, I think when I came up with the idea or the concept of giving a speech, like many times you would say like, well, the safest way to do it would be in front of friends, family. It would be encouraging. But for me, like put me in front of 1,000 people and I'm gonna rock the stage. But put me in front of 3 people in a living room, I'm scared as fuck, you know.
Yeah,
And
it's
I don't
more
know.
vulnerable.
That's how it feels, right?
Yeah,
Indeed.
yeah, and I think that's what we were talking about a couple minutes before when you said like um, that people tend to like to ignore a spectrum, like a side of the spectrum of emotions that we
Yeah,
feel, like anxiousness or nervousness, or um, it's because it's vulnerable. It's vulnerable to be scared. It's vulnerable to be nervous because you know it's not a really empowering feeling necessarily unless you make it so. And I
yeah,
think that's what like it's a common thing that people feel way more comfortable speaking to a bigger audience than speaking to two or
yeah.
three family members or one good friend. It's because it's way more vulnerable. I think you're like 1-to-1 or 1-to-5, and you care about those people. You probably know them, or and it's way more. Yeah, it's way more personal, so it makes it way more vulnerable, I think.
And do you think is there something to gain if we put ourselves in these situations of being vulnerable?
Oh yeah, of course. I think that's vulnerability is the platform of connectivity. Like, yeah, I think that's where you become able to share and feel safe with someone. If you show your vulnerability, I think another person will feel more safe to show their vulnerability, and I think that's a space where that can be very powerful for connecting. And so yeah, I think that's amazing.
And I think what is it? Mumsy says normal, challenging, nervous feeling. It's connected with unwanted reactions. And Joanna says being vulnerable is being powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, the power of vulnerability, like the book of Brene Brown, of course.
Yeah.
Brown. I don't know if you read that. I read like the first couple chapters. I don't know if you know that, but sometimes you have books that resonate with you so much.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, this book is teaching me so much, and then you only read 3 or 4 chapters, and then it's still such an important book to you, even if you haven't like finished reading it. I experienced that a lot. I don't know if that's just my lack of concentration, or or then I just quickly grasp the intention of the book. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I got the lesson, and like I carry it close to my heart now. But I find it an interesting phenomenon that I experience. Like, I have these books that I feel deeply connected to, and like they've taught me so much, but I haven't finished them at all.
You haven't, yeah. There's this beautiful talk, a lecture that Brene Brown gives, and it's on Netflix. Maybe you've seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's Call to Courage. It's so good, so good.
Yeah. I finished that one.
Yeah. Oh, you did. Yeah, that's cool. And my question to you is then, so let's say, for instance, at work, how do you deal with a no? So let's say, let's put an example, this, so it can serve everyone. Like in terms of your job, maybe you expressing yourself, being their president, doing an audition, whatsoever. What happens to you, like emotionally, in the mind, whatever, when you, for instance, you get like a no, thank you, something like it? How do you cope? What is it for you? What does it mean?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I get a no thank you, or I get a no or a silence like 95% of the time. It's like it's kind of my full-time job to go to castings and auditions and apply for jobs and stuff like that. And I'm not working every day. Like, I don't have a job every day. It's just not like that with modeling. You don't, well, bless the people who do that every day, but I wouldn't survive. So I get a no a lot of the time, but I think the first good part of like auditions and castings is you don't get the no straight away or in your face. Like, they will never tell you, oh no, you're not what we're looking for. That's just not gonna happen. But yeah, of course, you do know that you have been rejected, or not. I've tried to not see it as rejection, but
yeah, that's so.
You
that's
know that
the question.
Yeah.
Like how does it feel for you after after you got rejected or not selected? Better said, like
when I didn't get the job.
This.
Yeah. It's fairly easy, to be honest. Like, I try, but I guess it takes some practice. I think you have to. I think it starts with the mindset that I go to a casting with. Like, I try to be confident, not self-absorbed, not too full of myself. Like, just confident. I try do the best that I can. I try to come in there with humor, with an openness, with a nice energy, with a positive vibe.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna show them, hey, I could be a nice person to work with. Most of all, I think that's the first thing I want to show them. Like, hey, I'm a pleasant person to be around. I can communicate with you. I'll listen to you. I'll interact nicely with you. I'm not a like. Well, so I think the first thing is I come with that energy, and then.
So basically, what you're saying is there's phases. What I hear now. So before you get in, when you actually are having the casting, that's what you do. So you kind of prime yourself mentally.
I think it's a natural thing, but yeah, it's definitely what I try to be as a person. When I meet anyone for the first time, when I walk into a store and I buy vitamins or buy broccoli, I'll be a nice, open, pleasant person. I hope, or that's what my goal is. That's what I try to be.
Yeah.
Um, and I do the same with costings. And then what I've really had to learn or like realize, or what I started to realize, is that the producer or
Yeah.
the brand is not looking for this amount of centimeters in commercial fashion work, not, or the perfect this or the perfect that, or it's they have a look or a feeling or an idea in their mind, and you either suit what they are looking for, you're either what they are looking for, or you're not. So there's no point in taking it too personal. It's not
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm not good enough. It's
Take a
just
pause. Take
I'm
a pause.
I'm not what they're looking for.
Yeah.
A pause. Why?
Chai is here, I saw. And but I think that's something. Sorry for cutting you off, but the thing is, I think you're mentioning something.
There goes my confidence.
Yeah, no, but I think you mentioned something very interesting. That actually, that's what I experience as well. That maybe during times that I don't know if it has to do with the confidence we have as a person, but the interesting part is that we get to a point that we start to realize, like, hey, they're not rejecting you as a person, as who you are,
No.
but just based on your
Oh, yeah.
looks, how you come across, kind of. If it fits
Yeah.
their whatever they're looking for, and sometimes we're just not it, I guess, something like it.
Yeah, or they're looking for a more serious type and I'm too goofy. Or, it doesn't mean that my goofiness is rejected or not being appreciated or I should be less goofy. It's just they're looking for this type of person. And so I just really not take it personal. And of course, there's moments where you go to an audition, you get a call back, and then you get invested. Like, you're like, oh, they like me, so I have a chance of getting it. Apparently, I am close to being their type or their ideal person for this, and then you get invested, and it's always a bummer if you don't get a job that you would have really wanted to get. But yeah, that's like what we were talking about before. That's part of it, and that's good too, and gives you motivation, and it shows me that I care about what I do and that I enjoy what I do, because I can also be bummed out if I don't get a job. And if I didn't have any feelings about that, it would be
Yeah, so
really
basically, um, that's so nice. I think what you just mentioned, like really, and having this perspective on it, and being able to to cope with the situation in a constructive way. That's how I would call it.
yeah.
But my question is also, because there may be people obviously having their own jobs, or maybe being within companies working, that sometimes they propose ideas but they get rejected somehow, or doesn't get through, or even when they give it their all, being there themselves as a company. Like, if you would say, like, for instance, what would be the scale, the percentage of you getting, for instance, no's? Like, how many times is there a yes and how many times is there a no? If there's like some kind of balance
Yeah.
to be made.
I wouldn't know about percentages, because also I don't focus, like I don't hyper focus on, okay, I got this audition, oh, I didn't get that one, like cross through it.
No,
Like,
of course, of
I
course.
go, I bring my best, and then that's done. And if I get a call that they want to book me, I'm super happy. If I don't get a call, I've already
Yeah,
forgotten about the
yeah, yeah.
casting.
That's
That's how it
nice.
goes. I think the key thing that would apply to my job or someone else's job, as you just described, is try not to identify yourself with your product. And
Oh,
like, I
try not
think,
to identify yourself with your product.
yeah, and I think
Uh,
what you're like, the product you're delivering,
yeah,
what I deliver at my castings or at my job is me. I am the product.
yeah.
So I
That's
deliver
the
me, but
thing.
I still try not to identify with what I am for a client, because what I am for a client is not Lisa Groothuijzen. It's not or it's not just Lisa Groothuijzen, it's also what they have thought in their brainstorm sessions and in their conference room with their colleagues. Like, oh, we want to spread this message or this vibe, or we have a blonde girl or curly girl. So I am a project. My shell is the product.
Yeah.
And I think not to identify with that completely. Like I'm still me, and I'm not just my looks or my work or my ability to pose or act in front of a camera. They either like it for the brand or they don't. And I think, and it's always shitty if you emotionally invested or you invested time in it and it's not getting the appreciation you wished for.
Yeah.
But try to keep it, if it's reasonable, try to see what you can learn from it and how you can be motivated, or how you can progress and try better. Like don't give up and just keep going if you enjoy it and if it's reasonable. Like if you just have assholes that are like rejecting everything you do, like get the fuck out of there and find a new job or new partners or whatever, because that's not a healthy relationship. But if the rejection is reasonable, then try to learn, see what you can learn from it.
Yeah, I think that's what you just mentioned. I think it's very beautiful, because indeed we can be excited about something and maybe offer what we do or who we are. And then when we do so, that even though you had many times that it didn't work out, it's so beautiful to see, as you just mentioned, that you're still giving it your all because it is something you really like. And either if it works out or it doesn't work out, you extract a lesson from it. Like, okay, what can I take home from this? Or how can it serve me growing or becoming more confident, not seeing it as something personal. But it's super nice. But what do you think then? What's your perspective on, does that mean that you're doing something that you really, really like in order to keep up with this? How is it for you? Just, you don't have to.
Well, yeah, I'm doing it because I really like it, and I was never supposed to do this. Like I only started my modeling career, my full-time modeling career, like 1.5 years ago, like 2 years ago.
That's nothing.
It's and I was doing it like, and I've been like building it up for like 3 years now. But before that, I was a nerd. It was just, in a good way. Like I was studying. I was in the board of a study association. I got my master's in criminology. Like I haven't been a pretty kid. Like it's not that I was intended to be a model. I just enjoyed creating so much. I enjoy being in front of a camera. I don't know why, but I enjoy it. I enjoy expressing myself. And now I've learned. Now I'm doing this full time. That what I enjoy most, next to creating, is that every time I show up at a job, I'm with a new group of people, and there's always 1 or 2 or 3 people that I find a connection with, or that I have a beautiful conversation with. And oftentimes it's people who have traveled and also have met a lot of people throughout their careers, and that are open and social. So I have beautiful connections and conversations, and I've met so many makeup artists or hairstylists or photographers that I'm like, now 3 years later, I'm still in touch with, because we had one job together and we spent like 30 minutes together and we made a beautiful connection. And it teaches me a lot. It gives me a platform or a space to learn a lot about humanity and different types of people. And that for me makes it very rewarding and very fulfilling in a way. And then we can create something fun. And what I like about it too is that I can be silly. I can do a crazy dance. I can like twirl my hair. I just like be like that, and people won't be like, "Oh, do you need attention?" or like, "Why are you so present like in the room?" I'm allowed to be present in the room because that's my job, So it's nice to, like, I can be myself way more in front of a camera, too much probably, and sometimes they have to tone me down, yeah, for me that works. So I do really enjoy it. Yeah, and also I still feel it is a gift because I this wasn't my life path really. It wasn't my career that was laid out for me, or I've been. It still feels like a gift that I can do this. Yeah.
And for instance, what I noticed for myself that I've been to theater school when I was in Spain,
Mm.
and this is normally how it goes for me. So I start something, I enjoy it, I have fun, and there's always a moment where I get challenged or I get scared to show up again, you know, because you know maybe the last time didn't go as planned or didn't go as well as you wanted it to go.
Mm.
And then for me, it's always a difficult step to make this one. Is this recognizable for you? Um, and how do you, I don't know, how do you deal with this? Because many times I had a moment that sometimes I just think like, okay, maybe I just shouldn't continue anymore. And then for me, I always have to find this sense of
Mm.
courage, just showing up and knowing that maybe I fuck up again, but I'm going anyways, you know, kind of.
If they're asking you back, that should be enough. Uh, like encouragement already. If a client books me again, I can think whatever I think of the photos that we created. If I think, oh, I looked super shit, or damn, I look tired, or like, oh, I really wasn't feeling myself because I was on my period, or whatever, and I look at the photos and like, damn, okay, I hope they're happy. They're probably not. And then they book me again. Okay, I don't care about what
Yeah.
I thought of the photos anymore. Apparently, they're happy. They still want to work with me. Um, then it's probably good. And then I
Yeah.
completely let go of my opinions on it because
But
also,
this is, I think it's so interesting because still, you know, after having done so many jobs that we think we get into this comfy situation, like, yeah, I got this, I just show up, pim, pam, pam, and I'm done, and you go away. But then again, after every session, everything you do is just a different one. And maybe the
yeah,
same thoughts can come up, like, oh, maybe this could have been done better or whatsoever. But you still show up every time because you really like it, eh?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And also, I think you shouldn't avoid thinking about, oh, what could I have done better? Or what have I learned? Like, what didn't feel completely right? And where could I improve? I think that's very powerful. And I think it's very necessary if you want to grow and if you want to like explore your abilities. I think it's a necessity to evaluate yourself like that. Just don't punish yourself with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think like be kind to yourself and I think it's not just being vulnerable around other people or like with what is the challenge, but also being vulnerable with yourself. Like, am I allowing myself to be honest and to
Amen.
just to just to see myself as what I am and as what I do, and I see my effort and I see my failure and I embrace all of that. And you know, yeah, can I find power in that vulnerability? That's it.
Wow, that's so beautiful. This is gonna be a highlight. Just how you mentioned it, that
Hmm.
also being vulnerable to yourself and actually just being kind, because how can you be punishing yourself if you had the courage to show up again, you know, and to put yourself in
Exactly.
a vulnerable place? How can you start punishing,
Exactly.
judging? That's insane
That's it.
that we're doing this actually, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta praise yourself for trying. That's all you can do.
Yeah,
Enjoy the process. Try your best. Fuck it up. See where you fucked it up and try again. Fuck it up again. Okay, maybe I should try a different path, but you know, and then work too hard for that path. Yeah.
ah, that's so good. Amen to that.
There you
And
go.
so this is maybe a personal question, but what is the biggest difference between how you
Thank you, Nancy.
profile yourself on social media and
Sorry, I was distracted by a comment. Can you
oh,
ask?
what was that? I saw something, but it was such a big text. Momsy says you are too beautiful. Pleasure to meet you both. I thought that I'm different. It's great to belong somewhere. First live connection. Wish you both. Oh, that's so cool. So he had a
Thank you so
proper
much. Thank
Momsy.
you for your presence.
Here. That's so good. And indeed, so basically, Momsy, that's why we're doing this, because we feel like, and I know Lisa from a group of friends that we have, and what I just wanted to say is that she's also this type of person that we think we're really in this together, and we're not so different from each other. So why should we be punishing not even just ourselves, but also each other, and judging, and the jealousy and greed? If we, she's more of the encouraging type of person. We give you the good vibes, and that's what we thought. Like maybe we could offer a different perspective on, maybe especially, and that's why I thought it was interesting in how we came to the topic, right? That we thought if we connect, and you're especially, you're out there, you know, being present, and I do it sometimes, but it's definitely not my full-time job. But how interesting is it that what people maybe perceive as like, hey, this is a good life, look how they position themselves. That still there's hard work, there's being uncomfortable, there's self-doubt, there's shyness, there's awkwardness, there's not knowing how to do something, and it still happens, you know. And that's what we wanted to say, that I think it comes in many different jobs, you know. So
yeah, for sure.
and I asked you the question, right? So what is your biggest difference between how you profile yourself on social media and in real life? So what is something that you say like, hey, I know I read something yesterday.
What did you read?
I think it was in a conversation that you made the print screen that you sent to your to the group chat with that you said saying that well, whatever you feel like telling, you know, like just share something that's just real stuff.
I forgot. See, this is my nervous brain just like, oh yeah, forgetting the things.
So cute. Seema, good to have you here. So nice.
Well, yeah, your question, I'm just going to answer your question, because your question was, how are you, or am I any different in real life than on social media?
Yeah, is there a difference? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think there's a difference. And I think for me, I'm taking it on as a challenge every day to be as much, to show as much of myself online as I can, and be as vulnerable and authentically me online. But then it's challenging because it's Instagram is where I am most, and it's just here you have a photo, here you have a video kind of platform initially. So it's a challenge to, like, being the perfectionist that I am, because I'm kind to myself now, but I am very perfectionistic. Is that a word? Well, yeah. I'm a big perfectionist. Yeah. Like, if it comes to myself, I'm way kinder to other people, but I have very, very high standards to myself, and I have been highly critical of myself always, which resulted in me wanting to put out a perfect image on Instagram. And then I completely lost interest in Instagram because it didn't feel real. Like, it was nice to use it as a platform for clients and to create jobs and profile myself as a model. As I told you, I haven't been a model since I was like 14, like most of the girls. So I felt I kind of needed to profile myself as a model. And that came with good and perfect, like, good pictures and photos. So that's how I started my my more intense Instagram journey. But as now I actually am a model, and you know, I'm also growing a bit older and becoming more secure, or more aligned with myself, in touch with myself. For me, the challenge now is being as personal and being as authentic as I can be. And I fly. I like to fly.
Oh, you can see it. But
yeah.
It's huge.
It's fucking huge.
It's so big.
It's amazing.
I thought it was bats, you know, flying.
Yeah. nice. Oh, he has a right to live, you know. Let him be.
Yeah, for sure.
For now. But yeah, so lately I've really been focusing on sharing more, and I think this quarantine time has been giving me space and power and encouragement and time, really, to and also the realization even more that like most of us are just in our living rooms right now. We're in our bedrooms when our spouse is in the living room also working. And
Yeah.
so everyone is in a more personal, vulnerable space. So I feel way more encouraged to show more personal moments and just put out content and just share with people and like explore what's possible and not just share perfect images anymore. Like, but then on the other side, I still like a good photo from my work. I still love makeup. I still love like being the prettiest version of myself because I love creating and I love art and that's a form of art. So
I know
it's dual. Like, so I'm trying to do both now, and I really enjoy that process. Because sometimes I do feel like I have a lot of different interests, and I really it makes me feel alive to connect to people and talk to people. I think that's a big part of my personality. I like to be in touch with many people and like have a meaningful connection, how small it is, and especially in this time it's I'm trying to do that more on social media too. I think I lost my train of thought there, but I'm gonna leave it at this.
No, it's okay. We're running out of time. Time is flying, by the way. We have like 10 minutes left.
Wow. What time is it? I'm blind. Ah, damn it.
Yeah, time goes so fast. It's such a good conversation. So Sima has a question, and Sima asks, does the pressure of living up to the expectations changes one as a person? Or what positive or negative changes have you witnessed, and how did you deal with it personally?
Is that for you or for me? Both.
Just give it a go. I mean, it's all your.
Yeah, I think you have to be. I think yes. I think the pressure of living up to expectations can change you, and I think it's a big challenge in almost everybody's life to not just live up to expectations and do as people want you to do or please the people like your parents. I think that's a big challenge in many people's lives.
Yes,
because you don't want to disappoint people.
What would be your, so as you mentioned now, for instance, parents, family, people that are close to you that maybe, how would you deal with this? You know, what would be your advice, your suggestion in this?
Yeah, well, I experienced this myself too. Like, it's not a bad thing, but for example, my father is, how do I say that? Not as adventurous as I am. Like, he values security and stability way higher. For him, that's way more important than it is for me. And as he loves me, as I'm his daughter, and he cares about me, and he wants me to be safe and sound, for him, it is important that I'm stable and secure. But for me, I appreciate that, but it's on a way lower level. I value adventure and excitement and new thrills and like, exploring way more. So I followed that way more. For him, that's scary. But to appreciate and both understand that this is what he feels and this is what I feel, and it doesn't need to crash. It's just we need to understand from each other that we have different expectations of life, and we both respect those. And I'm still gonna do my thing.
That's so nice.
And he needs to trust me that I'll be safe and secure within my realm of whatever that means for me. That's a challenge, and like oftentimes we find ourselves completely not understanding where we're at. Like, why do you emphasize on that so much, and how can you just go do stuff like that? Like, it's really interesting. And of course, as a daughter, you want to please your father. And you want them to be proud and feel comfortable around you. And if you feel that your life is making them a bit nervous, that's challenging.
This is
and
so
then, yeah, so I think that's a challenge that many people in different variations experience. But I think it's very important to not let that shape your reality, and just stay true to yourself and communicate with each other, and and see what expectations that other people have from you are reasonable for you, and that you want to live up to. And
Lisa, this is so good, and this is something I wanted to add. We're really running out of time. But, if I may add to that, is what I had this conversation very recently with my father, the same. And so my parents got divorced, and there was a very super vulnerable moment where I sat with my father, and he was sometimes worried about the choices I made in life, that I wanted to set up an own company and do this stuff. And he said, like, yeah, I just want you to be okay. And I said, Dad, I know you say this out of love, but please know that if I would do or take the steps that you would have been taking, then I'm living your life. Yeah. It's your projection of how I should be living my life. Yeah. So what's of my life again? You gave me this beautiful set of life values to live up to and to have, and now I'm just gonna continue my own path.
Yeah.
We have to close down for a bit. So another question. What short answers, okay? Just give me a sentence. So what do you think is most needed in these times?
Connection, human connection, emotional connection, sharing. Yeah. Reach out, be there for each other. Yeah.
Cool. And what do you think is most needed after these times?
Oh, I only just read. I thought, are you reading these in the comments?
No. This is me.
After these times, well, maintaining that. Yeah. I think this is the perfect opportunity. As I said, we're in each other's living rooms way more often now. We're in each other's personal space way more. Let's get closer, and let's be nicer to each other, and let's stay more connected after. Yeah.
If you could have another superpower, what would it be?
Oh God. A superpower. Yeah, my brain goes way too much into saving the world, kind of like way too hectic things. Like, just want to give everybody peace, like within themselves. Yeah, that would be
peace. Okay, if you could give people peace within themselves, that's so nice. And is it you want to leave any type of? Okay, no, better said, what has modeling taught you about life? In short, just keep it brief.
That whatever you do, whatever job you have, it's still about human connection. I'm not gonna have the best time at the best paid job compared to the worst paid job. If the people are shit at the best paid job, then I don't care about that day. Then I had a shitty day and I got paid well. But if I have a nice team around me, nice people around me, it's a great day, and I'll remember that forever. So even if in a like changing, varying job like that, it's still about the people you meet and the people you work with. It's all about this, guys.
Oh my God, that's so good. So is there any other message that you would like to leave that just society in general, besides people being here? I think you've kind of summarized many answers, so you don't have to answer this.
I think, just live from a place of kindness and love, and I think if that's your main intention in the day, I'm gonna be a kind person today, I think you're gonna have a quite pleasant life. Just wake up and decide you're gonna be kind today.
Wow, Lisa, you're so beautiful from the inside and outside. It's incredible.
Thank you. So are you. Thank you so much for doing this with me. I really enjoyed it. But you're amazing. I love you. I love you, brother. And you were inspiring me. And yeah.
Stop saying that.
Thank you. Thank you for your work.
Yeah, don't make me cry. No, but honestly, it was an honor. And as you mentioned before, as soon as you said that we got to this topic, like, hey, maybe we could tune in together and just talk about some stuff. Yeah. I was super eager to have this conversation, and And also, people, if you enjoyed it in some way, please let us know. If you got any insights from
Yeah.
you want to take home, we have like 2 or 3 minutes left. Maybe you could share in one sentence, a few words, yeah, how it served you in any way, or what you're taking home from this whole conversation. And it would be nice to hear, I think. But
Yeah. And also after the live, send us DMs like,
yeah.
let's connect. Let's connect. That's it. Talk to me.
Go on.
I don't care about followers. I care about the connection. I would love to have any conversation. And
Yeah, that's so nice. And I think, as you mentioned before, it's just a beautiful time to connect, you know, and also, as you mentioned, like now that we have the chance to do it instantly, like quickly, even
yeah.
from a distance, and then afterwards connecting with each other, but then just show up in the living room, go to places and stuff. That's super nice. Look out, these beautiful words.
Yeah, I'm
Wonderful
feeling
stuff.
it.
I was
What
really
a great
ready.
day this is gonna be.
Yeah. So basically, for the people who are here, also, obviously you can follow Lisa, and she's fun. She's fun to follow. You started doing TikTok and stuff, also.
Yeah.
It's so good. No, but I think now it's beautiful to see and to know that there's a beautiful person behind that, you know. Also, then, and obviously you have this something you transmit through the things you post. And I have the privilege to know you as a person as well. To have such a nice and kind person that close. So that's super cool. I want to thank
Well,
you for
it's
that.
absolutely mutual. Okay. Shall
And
we say bye?
yeah, Lisa. So oh no, that's it basically. So, anyways, for the people who are here tomorrow, or who are here now, again, we're doing this every day at 12 o'clock. Tomorrow, either if I'm just by myself or someone else will be popping in. But so you know that all is about emotions and conversations and everything we can just
Behind the scenes, behind the screens.
yeah, it's so cool. Just send me the picture. It would be amazing. And Lisa, thank you for your time, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. It's been amazing. Thank you for the good vibes.